Across America, there are approximately 18.3 million children who live without a father in the home, comprising of about 1 in 4 U.S. children. And this stat is from the Father Absence Statistics. This is the reality that we're facing in the family unit today, where we're having absent fathers who are actually not present as a result of one challenge or the other. And that is the reason why we're here to discuss these topics when it comes to being a father who is there for their children. And we're going to dive deep into this topic right away. Welcome to Married and Committed Podcast. My name is Tunde Olanipekun, and as usual, I've got my sweetheart, a beautiful wife here with me.
Oh, yes. Today is the day that we are going to discuss how we raise the families, how to avoid divorces in marriages, how the divorce affect the family and the children.
Absolutely. So, on today's episode, we will be diving deep and looking into the role of the husband in a marriage. Because I know with the stats that I gave now, it's actually a reflection of probably one of the issues would be like, there's divorce in the family, or the father is not just there. And
Yes.
this would have been as a result of a husband who is actually not being a good husband to the wife, and they might have had issues, and also putting aside issues of baby daddies or
Yeah.
baby mamas aside, how we want to talk about how we can look into these issues of what leads to these stats that I just gave at the beginning of the show. Like I said, it's approximately 18.3 million children who live without a father in the home. So today we're going to be deep diving. I love using this phrase a lot. Deep diving and reflecting back. We're 19 years married. Yes, I think by the time you're listening to this episode, we are 19 years in this marriage. It's been by God's grace who has kept us to be here at this very moment. The Bible says we should lean not unto our own understanding, but always trust in the Lord. So the Lord has been the guide, has been the light of this marriage for us to, get to this stage of our lives. We met about 20 years ago, and on the 10th of March, I guess by the time you're listening to this episode, we celebrating our 19 years of marriage. So in today's topic, we're going to be, talking about our experiences, and that's why I, have my wife here. Maybe some of the things that I didn't do as we're starting this thing called marriage. What were the things that you thought I didn't get right from the beginning?
You know what? I cannot pinpoint
Yes.
that, these are the things that you were supposed to have done in a marriage, because we got into this marriage together. Both of us, we've never got married before.
Absolutely.
So there's no specific thing that I can say, oh, you were not doing this or you were not doing that, because both of us, we got into marriage without, we're not divorced from somewhere that
Yes.
I was expecting things to, that you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I can only reflect on our own marriages, what you were doing then differently from what you are doing now.
Okay.
You get
All
what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And for the fact that we married young also. Yeah, we might want to say that's an excuse. Like, no, I was I think 25. I don't know. You were like
No, you were 24. I was
24.
19.
You were 19.
That was I 19?
I hope we're getting that number right. But anyway,
Yes.
we're like in our mid-20s, and she was
No,
like
maybe, yeah, I think
around
I was
20 on,
2021, somewhere
yeah,
there.
thereabout,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
know.
2021.
And yeah, so
So yeah,
yeah.
what I can
So
say
so
is
you
that
said reflecting back to how we
yes,
started,
how we started
you know,
and
what were the
where,
roles that we were playing? Because life was different. If you remember,
yes,
before we had number one, yeah, we give our
kids
kids
numbers. There are
numbers.
three of them.
It's Belumi, it's Olatunde and Oladayo. So before we had number one, life was different. Then when we had number one, then it changed. Things changed
A little bit.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So, and as I've said from the beginning of the show, we want to look into, yeah, how did it start? You know, comparing about, we had him about almost 18 years ago, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
From now, how has things changed? Just like you said, we're going to use our marriage as an
Yes.
example. You know, if you can reflect back, like you said, what were the things that I was doing then? And
You know what? I would say at that time, because this is our first son.
yes,
And you know, like a father, you are excited. Like a mother, I'm excited. Everything was surrounding our baby, you know.
right,
So
right,
anytime you go out, you come back, you have something for him. I go out, I come back, we have something for, like, we were always putting him first,
right,
you know. Even though we had, and even at that time, we're not traveling that much, but we were like, you know, we're co-parenting very well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm at work or if I had to go to work early, you be the one to drop the kid at daycare. If you
yes,
come early, you be the one to pick. You know, during the breaks, I will quickly rush there, go and check if he's okay. You
right.
know, so there's no much thing that I can say that you were doing then that is different from now.
All
you know?
right. So if I may, and I totally agree with you, because I'm also trying to like reflect, like, you know, maybe do some introspection, like, did I really get it all right like that? And I remember vividly, to some extent, you know,
Yeah.
even though it might not be 100%, but I knew definitely, like, I was always there. I
Yeah,
was like
yes.
always playing that role.
Yes, you were always there. And I remember because this is our first baby to, like, first baby. We
Yes.
didn't have any child. I didn't have.
Yes.
So I remember, like, when coming to, like, feeding the baby, breastfeeding or formula or this, or the baby's doing this, what must we do? You were always going to, no, Google, no, you don't have to do like this. Oh, Google, let's do this. Oh, no, the baby has to take what did you call, just breast milk for
A
straight
certain amount of
3 weeks,
months. Yeah, and
6
all that.
months, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll come and say, but this baby cries a lot. There's nothing I can do. Let's buy formula. Let's,
Give him
it was
some
give him
formula
some, like,
for him to eat
So
real
I
food.
remember particularly on this day, I was like, you know what? I'm not, I used to call him Mr. Book, because he wanted to raise our son based on the books, Google and all that. So
Right.
I'll go and buy formula and baby food. I think, yeah, to open the child's throat, because I was like, if it's
I
tender and
know.
it's milk, I hide those baby food, I hide it. When he's at home, the baby will be on milk. The moment he goes to work, I feed
Yeah,
my
but
baby and sleep.
and remember also then, yeah, and I kind of like cajoled you, brought you into my side, and you were like on until, I mean, my mom was back in Nigeria, and your mom was maybe, I mean, she's just like about 2 hours away.
Yes.
Until Mama came, may her soul rest in peace. That's my mom-in-law, mom-in-love, I should say. When she came, and she saw the baby, she was like, "Hey, we're not swang. Like, you are not giving this child food, And and my mom, she was like, "No, what's wrong with you guys?" Then my wife would be like, "No, yeah, we just want to give him breast milk alone, blah blah blah," and all of those. She's like, "No ways."
Yeah.
She went to the store, went to get baby formulas. Even apart from the formulas, she started giving him pap.
Mutoho.
Okay, we call it motor,
But
like
it's
like
a baby
like
cereal one. It's not like the motoho that old people drinks.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
the
the
baby
cereal,
one, the
yeah,
cereal one.
yeah.
It's a, how can we put it? I mean, we say motor, so it's a maize meal, kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
a
Soft porridge
soft porridge
for babies,
for babies. So she had,
Then that's when I had my peace. Like, at night I
yeah,
could
because she's
sleep.
like,
The baby's okay, It's like, yeah, you people. My mom was so funny. You even say, both of you see how big you are, and the baby is small. You people, you are eating. But,
I
but
know,
yeah,
yeah,
that's how, those
yeah.
are the other things part of like, us raising a child.
Raising a child,
Yeah.
being there. And I know, I remember vividly, when you said, we're co-parenting quite well. And if we look back vividly, we didn't have lots of disagreement as to who will be doing what,
No.
at that point in time. Because 2005, I don't think, did we have a car by then?
2005. Yes, we did.
Oh, we had a car?
Yeah, we had a car.
Oh, we had
I
a
think
car?
after we had the baby,
We bought
few
a
months later, we
car.
bought a car.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. I remember vividly. Because if I reflect back, when we had him, let's go back to the night that you started getting into labor pains.
Oh, God.
Since we just bringing out this episode, some things will be coming, and
Yes.
would also want to share about what happened. My wife, she loved this Nigerian delicacy called gari. So gari you make with hot water, and you make it into eba.
Boiled water.
Boiled water, yeah. So you make it into eba. So she loved that so much, and she was having eba on the night, where this
Eba with egusi.
eba with egusi stew, soup. Like, if you know that, you need to go Google that. She loved that so much. So on the night, when she was having contractions and all that, she had the eba in her hands, and she was like, and she called me, and she's like, she said, I think I'm feeling something. It was like the baby's coming. I'm like, don't even think about that, And there she comes, She was like, serious. Once she dropped that eba, and she's like, Sweetie, I'm serious.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is for real. We didn't have a car.
Yeah, we had
Then
to call our friend.
We had to call our friend. Hey, kudos to you, White. Mr. White, Walter White, giving kudos to you. They had a car, and we were kind of like staying in the same apartment complex, right?
Yes.
And we called on him. He said, yeah. He said, hailed on him. He was like, yeah, I'll be right there. Got her in the car, and right away we drove straight to Edenvale Hospital in Johannesburg. It's in South Africa. And yeah.
I will never forget the pothole. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When you are in that labor pains, you don't want anything. My brother, Mr. White, was driving like
he was just being
like,
oring, like, because like you could see the way this woman is like,
oh,
the
God.
pain was, we don't want the baby to drop in the car. So yeah, so reflecting on that, and the baby came, or let's say even before the baby came, and I'm going to touch on this. Well, it's part of us looking about the role of fathers, in the lives of their child. When you had contractions overnight and all that, up until the next day, it was on a Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
And the next day, I think, Sunday. Now it was time that it was getting close, for the baby to come. And I had this midwife, called me to be like, oh, you need to compress, the upper side of her stomach so that we can press the baby down, because she's been pushing. It's her first time. It's a little bit kind of like challenging. The baby's not coming out, and I was like, I can't do that, but I tried to push, but she was like,
goodness.
What happened there? She's like, she kind of like shoved me away.
The nurse say press, like Don't massage, press, like so that when I tell her to push, you press so that at least you'll be pushing under the baby's feet so that he can press up.
Yeah.
But oh, my loving husband,
I was
no help.
so
So gentle. Then I said, you know
tender.
what? Can you move? Then yeah. The nurse came and one press, the baby was out.
Yeah.
One press.
So, because for me, I've never been in such situation in my life, in my entire life. So I felt, no, this one is my baby. This is my, I'm going to be there. But that was the most overwhelming situation I have ever been in my life. Like witnessing a baby being delivered. That day, yeah, I knew I respected women and all that, say my mom, but it grew to another level.
Yes.
Like I gave
That's
women.
I would say it is very important. It is very important for the partner, your husband, whether you've not gotten married yet, to be there in the labor room. It kind of gives that, because some men, they don't value the women. So I feel like it's until they see what women goes through when it comes to giving birth.
Yeah,
I feel like it will give them, I don't know, change their mind, change their, the
perception, their
perception about
attitude
the attitude,
towards women generally.
Yes.
Even you giving that kudos to your mom, maybe most of your years you've always been blaming your parents for not being there for you, or they didn't do one, two, three, four. But
For the,
just that process alone, you need to be grateful to God.
Yes.
That they went through that process. For me, it's just out of this world kind of like scenario. Like I can't believe that. It's so surreal. Like,
yeah.
like a human being carrying another human in the stomach, and they growing, and it's surreal. And so being there kind of like changed my perspective, about women, or my approach, my attitude, even towards women. Not like I had any forms of craziness, towards women or anything, but
Until you experience
yes,
the delivery.
it's just out of this world. So if you're a man out there, you're a husband, I want you, to be. It's a once in a lifetime. Rethink it and try to be there. It's just going to instill something in you that's going to make you feel proud and be more responsible,
Yes.
or you're taking accountability
Yeah.
of how you want your family to become. So that was that experience, for me, talking about being there, playing the role of a husband, supporting your wife.
Yes.
I know definitely it won't be possible for all men. Some might, kind of like chicken out to be like, I would never. I know some men who will say that I would never do such a thing. What would I be doing in that labor room? Because we have different forms of ways to take things in a way. And so
Yes.
when we see how we've like evolved from then till now, I know, we moving from South Africa to the US, it's kind of like a different lifestyle.
Exactly.
So if we can look deeply into it also, I want us to talk about how things now changed in a way, you know, and we're looking into how being a dad or being a husband, what roles are we supposed to be playing, and what are the challenges, that are there that would stop us from not playing this role. I remember when we came vividly. The only job that I could lay hands on that I could get was a job of a security guard, right? And I would be away.
Oh yeah.
So
You,
if we can look into that, sweetie, like
yeah,
this is reality now. I
yeah,
didn't choose not to be there in certain things. I'm always not there for their games,
games.
school activities. You were always the one.
Yes.
So can we look into that and talk about it? Like, what's your take on that?
I would say financially you were there. Physically you were not there.
Right.
Which was understandable at that time. Is not something that you took forever doing.
Yes.
So at
Yes.
that point in time, we just wanted to be like have roof
Over.
over our heads.
Yeah.
We have food, like kids are okay. At that time we already have what, three of them, number one, two,
Yes.
and three.
Yes.
So no, when we came, we had one
Oh,
here.
we
Number
had one
three
in
was
South
not here
Africa.
yet.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so there were two of them. So well, he's at work. I'll take care of the house, the kids, making sure we are okay. But I could not do that without finances.
Yes.
So he will provide finances, but at least in a week, you come spend 2 days with us.
Yeah.
That's when
Thereabout.
we reconnect and all that. So I don't take it at this moment when I think about it, as it was happening, I wasn't feeling that.
Right.
Because I think in my mind, I've already programmed my mind that, okay, at this certain times he's here, at this certain times he's not here. And at that point, talking about support, I
Yes.
wasn't sitting down waiting for him to bring the finances. You know, when I got to America, I stayed with a lady that was doing catering for Africans, especially
Catering
Nigerians.
for Nigerian
Yes,
delicacies and all that.
delicacies.
Yeah.
Yes, so I learned how to cook jollof rice, egusi,
Different kind of
different kind of
Nigerian food
Nigerian food.
stuff. Yeah.
So when we moved, because I was living in LA at that time, so when we
Yes.
moved to Moreno Valley, I was like, okay, what can I do? I
Right.
started cooking jollof rice, asking my neighbors to come and taste. That's when my neighbors like, oh, we can order,
Yes.
food, take to church, stuff like that. I was
And at the
doing
same
people's
time,
hair.
you're doing hair.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was doing hair at the same
To
time,
support.
to support my husband, because I wasn't that woman that I want to sit down and wait on him.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I was helping with in the house. At the same time, I still have to take the kids out, to go and play. Not that, and at that time we only have one car, and he's the one using it. So
Yes.
I'll use the bus. We go to Riverside Mall. I take the kids to the park, just to balance our lifestyle. So yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I would say, when you do something out of love, you don't feel like, oh, it was hard, or it was like, oh, how did I do it? When you do with love and support, I don't remember there was a time that I was asking my husband, oh, I need more money. I need to do my nails. I need to do my hair. I
Yes.
was like, those things to me at that point in time, I'm like, time will come. So what was I doing? I was just supporting our family.
Absolutely.
So that structure, like the kids having their parents both together, I think it's something that you cannot.
It's invaluable.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the word I was
Invaluable.
looking for.
Like
Yeah.
being there, and when I look back, it was very encouraging because like you said, I'll be away, for a
Yes.
couple of days. I had to go bring in, want to put food on the table and all that. So when I come back home, as a man, as the husband, everything is well kept. I don't come into a dirty house. My wife is always playing that supportive role, which is what you as a man, you need to be at that place whereby you're taking the lead. And I'm very, very positive that once you take the lead role in your family, every other thing I believe will fall in place.
Yes.
Because you're not just saying stuff, you're taking the lead of saying, okay, this part
Yeah.
I could take care of. I am going to bring in the finances, majority of the finances. I am going to support my family.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure that my kids do not lack anything.
And
And
even though, yes, some men they'll feel like, oh, I bring the money, you do everything. No, he was never like that. Even though he's out there working, and when he comes home, he'll be like, okay, so my wife has been doing this and this. When I wake up trying to get the kids ready, it's like, no, 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 you sleep, I'll take care of them. I'll be like, you just came back from work, you need to rest, I'll still do this. He's like, no, 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 let me do it. That's another part of doing things with your kids. They know that daddy can bath us, daddy can prepare our lunch, daddy can drop us at school.
yes,
So those are the things that I feel like there are some people, they'll look at it that they are little things, so I can do it, but it goes a long way in the
yes,
lives of the kids. Having
yes.
activities with your kids, they know that, okay, like my husband, he likes to put them in the shower. No, I like to put them in the bathtub. So they know if daddy's bathing is giving us a shower today, this is a shower. If it's mommy, it's a bathtub.
Yeah.
So those little things, they make the kids to, how can I put it?
Have that reassurance,
Yes,
and the excitement of having their father
their
around, their
father
dad
around.
around.
Yes,
And what I mostly say, to people is that kids would actually do more of what they see you do
exactly.
than what you tell them to do. That's what I believe, because in so many instances you would have seen, how some of them react and all that. It's as a result of what they're seeing you do,
Yes.
you know?
And I remember what based on what you just said now, my elder son, Pelumi, he was talking to the friend. I don't know what they were talking about on the phone or what.
Yes.
Then Pelumi was like, no, my dad is in the kitchen helping my mom to cook. And the friend was like, your dad is helping your mom to cook? He's like, yeah, my dad helps my mom to cook. He's like, no, my dad don't do that. It's my mom's work. But now, even him, when he see me, I'm in the kitchen, he comes and say, mommy, what do you want me to do? I'm like, okay,
Absolutely.
Pelumi, wash the dishes over there. Or you know what, help me cut the onions. Because that's what they see their dad doing.
Absolutely.
If the dad sits there, he's like, oh no, I don't have to do that. So when we sit down with him, we just chit chatting. Oh, are you gonna get married? Are you, sometimes these things you check them. Then he'll be like,
Right.
yeah. It's like, yeah, I'll help my wife do this. I'll help my wife to do this. I'm like, okay, as he said, yeah, kids, they practice what they see.
You do. So it's very important. These are the very, very positive effects of you being there, playing the role of a husband, supporting your wife, and leading by example, showing your kids how things are done,
Yes.
how they're supposed to do when they get to that stage, of their lives where they'll be taking a decision. Oh, I want to get married. I want to settle down. I want to be in a relationship. It's extremely important. It instills some level of confidence in them.
So I think that is the reason why we have this podcast as Married and Committed, to help men to avoid
Divorce.
divorce. Because now, when you think of divorce, I want men and women to really think deep about it, because now that is not the decision that you just make because based on your own feelings. You are putting the children in a space of maturity, or them making like to have to choose between the parents, because now these kids, they grew up with a mother and father in a home. Now when you decide to go through the divorce,
Yes.
try to think about the children, because this affects them, not just like, oh, you're gonna see your daddy every other 2-3 days or every other week. The
Yes.
presence, I guess we were there, whereby we sit down and like, this is how the divorce is gonna, this is how it's going to be. But when we sat back and thought about it, that, what, it is unfair for our son to not have both of us while we had both of our parents.
Yes.
So that's what made us to be like, no, stop, think before you go ahead. So I think that will be my how do I put it?
Like a key, like a
Yes,
focus
focus that,
area, like
as much
to
as
think
women,
into.
yes, because women, they'll
Yes.
be like, no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't. Just put yourself out a little bit,
Not to be selfish.
not to be selfish, think about the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but it will still goes down to if both of you are committed to be like, you know what, we're gonna work on this marriage, we're gonna do
Absolutely.
things differently, we're gonna make it work, then it both of you come together and agree that this is gonna work. You will see the kids, even their lifestyle, when they grow up,
It's going to reflect
yes, on
in
that.
whatever they
So
do.
I'm just sometimes I'll think about it that what if we went ahead and got divorced?
Divorced.
So I'm like, it's not sometimes the enemy will just bring something because the enemy sees the future too. He will want to cut that off,
Yes.
but because God says no,
My God.
he will make you to stay there. Then that's why we are able to sit here and say we were there. And our family, it's like we are happy. The kids are happy. So every time I look back, I'm like, the devil is a liar.
That's it.
The devil is a liar.
That is it. That is it. Wow. That is profound. You just went on the pulpit to preach a little bit there. That is profound, And yeah, so this, if you just join in, or probably just to reflect back, we're talking about the roles fathers play in the lives of the children. What role are you playing as a husband? And yes, this is Married and Committed Podcast. This is a platform where we help married Christian men avoid divorce. We help them to rebuild trust, to rekindle intimacy, and strengthen their marriages. This is one topic that, we just thought we want to come here and share with you guys, or share with you, that man, you're watching, you listening to this podcast right now, what it is that you're struggling with. And we're actually very blessed, so to say we want to bring these discussions and talk about them and share our experiences with you. And one other thing before we go is, you talked about commitment, right? Talked about commitment. One of the things that I've also heard, or I've seen play out, is in the society that we have today, there's always that thing of that is not so balanced, or people are like kind of like struggling with, when it comes to like couples, of who should do what, and I'm saying who should do what when it comes to whatever it is that you're contributing to your family. I always hear people say, oh no, it's 50-50, like we have to do it 50-50, like, and I'm always thinking, why is it like a norm? Or if we have to look at the way God designs marriage, what is the word of God saying? Because if we look into the books of the beginning, the book of Genesis, he says a man, right?
Yes.
Shall leave his mother and father's house and be joined together with the wife, and they shall become one flesh, right?
Yes.
And also, on some later part of that scripture is that the marriage by God's design is that God designed man to be the provider.
Yes.
And you, as the wife, as the woman, you're here to support. And this has been just indicative of what my wife was sharing, how we had started our life, which is why we even, to be in this state that we had today, 19 years marriage, going strong by God's grace. So I'm trying to look into that the society that we are is so different now that people still want to, as a man, do you really have to stoop that low that you want to tell your wife to say, no, you bring 50%, I bring.
I think it's a society thing that you have to bring 50-50 because of the I don't know because of what, but I feel like uh whatever you bring, whatever I bring, we put it together, we are one.
Yeah.
You understand? You bring your, I will just make an example. You bring your $50, I bring my $50, we put it together, we have $100. What do we need to do with it?
Yeah.
Not like, oh, you have this. Like us the way we do, we bring everything is ours. There's no his
It doesn't
and
matter who is
who's
bringing in
bringing what.
more.
We
Yeah.
support each other. If he has a project going on, I wanna have my project going on. We're not gonna be like you do your thing, I do my thing. No, I'm going to support him
Absolutely.
when we are done with his project. He support me on my own project.
Absolutely.
So that's the way
The way we roll.
we roll
Yeah.
in our family.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, oh, this is
There's
mine, this
no-
is yours, this is mine.
Absolutely.
We sit down, we put things together. Even when it comes to our extended families, there's no thing of like you send your mom money from your money, I send my sister
Nope.
money from my. We sit down, we are like, okay, this is what we have to do, this is what we have to do. And there's no hide and seek, say, oh, I'm going to keep this money, my wife doesn't know about it, I'm going to keep this money. Like, hey, this is what it is, what do we do now?
Right.
We have situation back home, how do we deal with this? Because being open, it avoids so many conflict when it comes to even finances. So when
Absolutely.
they say man is a provider, woman is a helper. How about that?
That is it. That is it. You just broken it down. And I also don't want us, it looks like now we're entering into, some very deeper sensitive issues also on finances, which is
Yeah.
good. And I guess we're going to have that topic on another day.
another
But
day.
it's actually all interlinked,
Yes.
because we're
Yes.
talking about the role. You as a man, as a married Christian man, this is what God has ordained you. This is the office that you have
Yes.
that has been put before you. And I always say to people, God will not send you on an assignment without equipping you. He would always equip you because he knows that you have to fulfill that role of a husband to your wife, of a father to your children, so that you can set example, you can leave a legacy, so that when you're not here anymore, there is something to hold on. Your kids can look back and say, this was how our father was doing. And this can result in so many things that, are not, of God, that is happening amongst this generation right now. You could really, avoid a whole lot of things. There's a whole high rate of incarceration of young men at a very young age, being incarcerated for minor things, for things that could have been avoided if the father figure was there. If you had played the role of a good husband, all this wouldn't have, there wouldn't be all this ripple effect, and that is why we, are talking about these issues. And yeah, playing the role of a father, it's very, very important. Playing the role of a husband will definitely go a long way in you avoiding any forms of separation, any forms of divorce, but building that family unit the way God has designed it. So, yeah, this is it.
This is it, yes.
This is it. I hope
And
this has been.
there's still a lot more to talk about, but
Of course.
I think we will, based on this topic of being a good husband, being a good father,
Yes.
we're still going to talk more about it. And
Right.
the kids, they should know that mom and dad is one.
Right.
Can't
That's
go
it.
to dad says yes, and you go to mom says no, or
Yeah.
other way. So the kids too, when daddy said no, mommy don't come and say yes. They
Yeah.
should be on the same page.
Yeah.
So We'll continue this topic, I think, soon because,
Yeah.
yeah,
We go into other topics, and we just want to always like keep it short and sweet. So,
this is
and
it.
I hope this has been a blessing to you. Even me talking about it, we talking about it, it kind of like make us reflect back as we going towards. So on the day of this recording, we just couple of days for our 19th year. Woo! Anniversary,
Yes.
if you enjoy this podcast, just drop something, drop a review, share with us your views, what you feel, and what you even want to expect on this podcast. My name is Tunde Olanipekun, and I have my wife here, Masetori. And as we say goodbye, I want to say keep committing to that relationship. Keep the commitment 100%
Yes.
to your marriage as designed by God. May the Lord continue to bless you. And we signing out. Shalom. Have a good one.
Peace
Bye-bye.
out. Bye.